Will this month's news change the trajectory of the real estate market for the next 12 months and even beyond? Let's start with the jobs numbers we got in this morning and then look ahead to see what happens after November 5th. Jobs numbers. We were anticipating 160,000 jobs added in August. Non-farm payrolls came in this morning showing 142,000 were added. This bodes well for a rate cut in September, actually in just a couple weeks from the Fed, a 50 basis points one. But per usual, the real news here was not the headline jobs number. It was what was in the report. More revisions. Actually just under 100,000 for just the last 2 months. Guys, 20% of the jobs supposedly added this year never actually existed. Moving on, the unemployment rate went down by 1/10, which is likely why we didn't see a big reaction from mortgage bonds and huge improvement on interest rates today. There are arguments, though, that that number is also faulty because while the labor force increased by 120,000, we lost 438,000 jobs. More jobs created than increase in laborers means unemployment went down. It improved. But there's a but here, and it's kind of a big but. We added 527,000 part-time jobs, meaning unemployment went down because people took part-time jobs. Was that because they couldn't find a full-time job? Because if so, that means that unemployment is actually still quite concerning. Let's talk about that rate cut though, the September Fed meeting, because it's fast approaching. Will mortgage rates improve 0.5 point if the Fed cuts the Fed funds rate 50 basis points? No. And if they only cut 25 basis points, we could actually see mortgage bonds react poorly and mortgage interest rates go up after the rate cut. It's really important to remember that the market has already built in 4 rate cuts this year. They reacted to that news last winter, remember? And even after all the turbulence of this year, over the past few weeks, it's been pretty much a given that September is bringing a rate cut. And so we already saw a big improvement in mortgage interest rates. The election, though, what's the election going to do? A survey done by Veterans United Home Loans found that 40% of prospective buyers are pausing their search and just waiting until they know the election results. Why? That's hard to answer, especially because we know the election won't change much when it comes to housing or even monetary policy. The candidates are going hard on it, though. They're using housing and affordability and real estate a lot in their rhetoric. It's a good, polarizing, even triggering topic to get people riled up, right? Especially when we talk about the big, bad guy, institutional investors. Both candidates are talking about how they will make housing affordable again, but the truth is there's only one way to do that: more housing, which you and I know is no easy task. If I were to oversimplify it by asking you, do you want more homes in your neighborhood? It would help your kids be able to buy a home someday, but in the meantime, it'll mean more traffic, more density, and your home value going down a little bit. Do you want that? I'm going to go out on a limb and say your answer would be no, because as human beings, we're short-sighted. And while I've discussed my own theories on the media and the ultra-rich wanting to turn America into a nation of renters, I can't argue with the data. The data, the cold, hard numbers, show that institutional investors do not yet own the majority of homes in America. No, seriously, they actually own 2 to 3% of the single-family rental housing stock. That's it. The number's rising, but it's lower than I thought. And it's a lot lower than the politicians want you to think. So what happens to real estate at the end of this year? There are people who need to buy and sell a property in 2025. If they fall into the 40% that we discussed above who are just waiting, then they're not giving themselves very much time between November 5th and December 31st. Typically, and by typically I mean me personally, I see a tick up in loans closing in December for all my investors, but also just some families who, for a variety of reasons, decide to pull the trigger and be in a new home for the new year. Listings on the market in November and December are typically motivated sellers. They've got to get this off their books before the end of the year. Realtors also like to make money this time of year. So deals start just coming together in time for Christmas. As a buyer, this is a major opportunity to strike. And if you aren't sure how to be ready, check out all the tips I have on my blog, ShivaniPeterson.com. Click on blog. I've listed so many tips that you can use as a buyer to get ready. And as a realtor, these are the things you should be shouting, maybe even screaming from the rooftop right now. Now, some important upcoming dates. Mortgage and Mimosas will be on September 26th, and the topic is especially timely. I'm bringing in a very special guest to help you craft your elevator pitch, but we're rebranding it and putting it on steroids. We're going to teach you how to quickly and confidently deliver your unique value proposition so that the person hearing it has no doubt who their realtor is now. This will help you with networking events, listing presentations, your content, and those buyer-broker agreements that you want to get signed without feeling slimy. Future is Female is October 17th, and you can grab your tickets now. Sponsorships are also available, so let me know if you're interested. And then sometime in October, don't have a final date yet, but stay tuned, will be the grand opening of 18 on Lakeside. Reply to this email with the word inventory if you'd like to stay in the loop with updates on that.